Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mooloolaba Music. My name is Chris.
I'm Marcus.
And I am Joe.
And we are all here today to run another comparison series. That's right. We are comparing the minis. Battle of the minis, as they say, right? We have
Who says it?
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. We've got the Mini Maton over here. We have got the GS Mini Taylor, and then we have got the Mini Martin series. So all of these guitars are slightly smaller than the full-size body shape, and we're here to compare them and hear the different tonal qualities, what you might get. They're all quite similar in price point, I believe.
That's right. They're all sitting in a similar price point in the market, which is one of the reasons we're kind of comparing them. Sometimes we're comparing things at different price points with similar features. This one, it's the travel guitars in a similar price point. What do you get for what you're paying for?
Now, all three of these guitars have pickup systems, and they're all different pickup systems. So they're all going to sound very different when plugged in, but we're going to do a bit of an acoustic analysis. But I have to say right off the bat that Joe's guitar here has my favorite pickup system in it. It's got the AP5 Pro, and God, it's gorgeous. It is truly lovely. You've got a mic blend, you've got a piezo pickup, you're the full spectrum, such a small guitar, but such a large sound through that pickup. So I definitely love that pickup.
Yeah, the great thing about the Mini Matons, so it's the smaller travel size guitar, is it is a easy guitar to take around traveling if you are not just like, hey, I want a guitar to travel with for holidaying, but you're actually gigging and traveling around. I've seen Diesel play many times, and of course he's known for having a signature one of these, but pretty much every time I've seen him, this is what he plays, is one of these, because plugging it in, it sounds incredible because of that pickup system that's in it. So it's the travel guitar that's made for gigging as well. So it's got a very pro pickup sound in it. It's fantastic. And of course, Chris, your guitar, the Martin, the guitar that started Steel Strings, the brand.
That's right. The oldest in the biz, ladies and gentlemen. The OG, as some would say. And you can see why. These are beautiful instruments, lots of great tonal qualities. But this guitar really is completely different to the other two here, because obviously these two have got specific timbers and woods that are being used and made, whereas this has got a little something different going on for it. Tell us a bit about the different timbers, Marcus.
Okay, so well, looking at what you've got there, this is part of the X series, and this body shape is an O. So it's the if you know your Martins, that's an O shape. So this is the OX2, solid spruce top. And we've got on the back and sides, we've got the HPL, high pressure laminates. This one has got the Cocobolo finish on it. Now these X series guitars, you get them in a whole range of sizes. Obviously we're looking at this O size, which fits into the travel size here. Known for this sort of really heavy bass response that you get out of the X series. So kind of a real smiley face EQ. Yeah, so lots of bass, nice bit of sizzle in the high end, and a scooped out mid-range. So great for the strumming kind of guitar player. But as you heard Chris at the beginning there, he was some really nice intricate single note stuff too. So if you're soloing or you just got some single notes, finger picking, still works great. It's got a great scoop sounds. If you like that, it works really well.
Absolutely.
This one here, the Taylor, this is one of the GS Minis. This one is the Koa Plus, GS Mini E Koa Plus, the E with the pickup. So there's a range of GS Minis. We found they're very popular here, the GS Minis. Sell stacks of them, and there's lots of different timber combinations. The Plus series will have the ES2 pickup system in them. If you don't know them, they have 3 piezo pickup just sitting here against the saddle instead of underneath, and 3 controls here: volume, bass, and treble. Very simple, actually quite effective. You tend to find this takes out the way where they've placed the pickup, takes out a bit of that quack that you can sometimes get, that high-end sort of quacking, I guess that's how it's described. This one here, Koa, so solid Hawaiian Koa top, and you've got a 3-ply Koa back and sides with what they call a pressed cello back and sides, or you can kind of see that arch in there. Kind of helps with the sound as well as structural stability. And as with all Taylors, real ebony that they're using on the boards and the bridges here. And Joe's lovely guitar, which we spoke a little bit about. And I think we all love the pickup in that, the AP5.
Yep.
So as you can see, it's a little smaller. It's not just Joe is that much bigger than us. He does go to the gym, but it's the fact that the guitar is a little bit smaller.
Tim slightly forward in the shot.
Yeah.
He feels bigger than us.
But don't get him to show his arms. They're way too big. Stop flexing. Oh. So
this is the guitar I think of when people talk about a Mini.
Yes.
Right?
that size, yeah.
Super iconic, like you said, for these,
Yeah.
these with the signature series, but yeah.
Yeah, so in the what we refer to as a travel size guitar in this shop and many other shops as well is this size. And Martin do this size guitar as well, and it's called a Little Martin. It's the exact same size as this, and Taylor does one as well, and it's called the Baby Taylor. But sort of we are comparing these ones because of one, price point, and also they're kind of more gigging guitars, which they are in this one here. And in the Taylors, you kind of get into the GS Mini. The Martins, you're getting up to these X series for maybe something that you're going to be gigging with.
Yeah.
That one, yeah, so solid spruce top on that, and
Yep.
you've actually got a solid back and sides as well. So out of these three, that's the only one with a solid timber back and sides,
It's
not
the,
just the top.
Also, homegrown bit of solid Queensland maple.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
With the mahogany neck here.
We'll edit that. It's a Queensland maple neck.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I read the specs, but
I could be wrong. Let me out.
Let
Let me
me
out.
just jump in here, ladies and gentlemen. From a guitar tech point of view, right? One of the things that we struggle with here in Queensland is our climate and how guitars handle our rigorous climate changes. Now, one of the things that you can see here is a lot of Martins end up shaving down the saddle, adjusting that truss rod, trying to get the action low. And over a prolonged period of time, you might find some swelling. You might find the same thing in the Maton, even though it's produced with Australian timber and it's locally created, you might find that it swells. And when they swell and you run out of saddle, you start looking at a expensive neck reset. But not down here, ladies and gentlemen. If you focus on Marcus's guitar, this is a bolt-on neck, right? And so with the bolt-on neck and the Taylor neck, that's the system that they like to use, there's tapered shims that can be placed in. So instead of shaving that saddle down and losing resonance and tone, you can just adjust and tilt the angle of the neck with these tapered shims. So an expensive $600 to $900 neck reset becomes a very viable, cheap option when you buy a Taylor too. So.
Now, I've had a lot of conversations with people in store and even outside the store and going, oh yeah, acoustics with a bolt-on neck, don't you lose tone? Actually, no. So your timber of the neck is up against the timber of the body. They're directly just right up against each other. And you've got a bolt that goes through, or two bolts that go through and hold that in place, timber to timber. Now, how do you do a set neck? That is glued in. So between the timber and the timber, you've got glue. I'm not saying one is worse than the other for tone, but people often don't think that. They just go, oh, you've got a piece of metal between the timber. Well, no, you've actually got timber up against timber. There's a reason why there are a lot of bolt-on neck electric guitars out there, and it does work on acoustics, and they're not the only guys who do it, but it is a great design, and especially from the point of view of, like Chris was saying, being able to...
It's a niche point of
adjust.
view,
Yeah.
but it's valid, ladies and gentlemen. How do these sound, though? Let's hear them separately. We've had a bit of a jam together. Let's start with Joe. You've got that beautiful... Oh, ain't no sunshine when that guitar comes in the room. Absolutely.
when that guitar's gone.
Exactly, when that guitar leaves the room is what I meant to say. Marcus, let's have a quick listen to that Taylor. That was a beautiful rendition.
Different sounds,
Different sound.
colour, and different sized body.
Different sized body definitely plays a role in that. You can hear a little bit more of the defined low end from that guitar. Brings out a little truer. And then we take a look, you've got all these fancy schmancy timbers, ladies and gentlemen, but what does the old high pressure laminate sound like? You know what I mean? Spruce top, high pressure laminate.
Surprises.
Quick. I hope that there's a surprise in store for all of you.
Just proves what you can make guitars out of, lots of
boulder.
different timbers.
Or a boulder.
Yeah.
I think what the amazing thing about mini guitars in general is, if to the uninitiated you come in, you're thinking about playing one, the first thing you think is, how much tone am I going to lose with
So
such
true.
a smaller instrument? And like you said before, let's be honest, you do lose a little bit. But when you play one of these, like the first time I did, I was so shocked at how big and full it sounded for its size. Like it more than compensates for the difference.
And that's without plugging them in. Once you
Yeah.
plug them in, you're going to hear the different sounds of the pickup systems. That's a completely different video, ladies and gentlemen. But they all do have such different sounding pickup systems. So definitely we should touch on that in the future.
Absolutely. And just want to point out, I don't want to, slag on anything about what this was made out of. So I'm just hoping that doesn't come across that way, because I actually think it's got a great place in this market. And when we're talking about timbers and that, and moving and that, and humidity, and whether you're aware of what humidity does, lack of humidity or too much humidity, swelling, drying and cracking, things like that, less chance of it doing when with the back and sides of this. And it's not they just did that to make it cheap, because it's not a cheap guitar.
Not at all.
It's made a different guitar. They tried something and it's working. It works really well, actually.
I hope that translates too with the audio, because I really enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
And it sounded really nice and full to my ear too.
Because I like seeing people surprised. Customers come in here and they play these, or you recommend when they're looking at these kind of guitars, and just go, try this, and like, oh, I heard it doesn't have real timber in the back and side. It's like, play the guitar. It's a guitar made by Maton. There's a lot of heavy. There's some weight behind that. So,
But as always with guitar, ladies and gentlemen, the wand chooses the wizard. It comes down to the person playing the guitar if you feel an affinity towards it. But this is just 3 great smaller body shapes that are available to you, all at a similar price point. And we would love to hear your thoughts. If one of these guitars stood out to you, if 2 of them stood out to you, if all 3 of them stood out to you, we don't mind, but write it in the comments. Let us know what you think, and we will write back to you. But once again, my name is Chris.
I'm Marcus.
And I'm Joe.
And we'll see you next time at Mooloolaba Music.